All right, so welcome, John, to
Hi,
the
Jono.
afternoon session.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us. And
pleasure.
it's anything to check in on, or should we just jump straight in?
Uh, well, I've read up today's lesson. Actually, I'm just interested in just reviewing that word vision again. Actually, so when we get there,
Hmm.
it's the second. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So let's go into it. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So yeah, I just always like to do the quote quickly. So do you want to have a
yeah,
read of
yeah.
that quote?
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
To every man there comes in this lifetime, in his lifetime, that special moment when he's figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a very special thing, unique to him and fitted to his talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds him unprepared or unqualified for that which would be his finest hour. Winston Churchill, of course. Yeah.
Mhm. Which it's really a call. It's a call to action, a call to listen to the voice.
Yeah.
And that's in all of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean you go and do something like Churchill did, but that there's this inner call
Yeah.
that we all call to answer, particularly in a time like this when there's so much
Yes.
darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Darkness is always the call to the light, as I say here. Yeah, people have endured a lot of senseless suffering over the last 2 years because of the pandemic and authorities' responses to it, and but really the call is to awaken to the light of pure formless awareness.
Actually, I'd like to add to that quote.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize his finest hour, but also recognize when his finest hour is finished.
Yeah.
And let go of it. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, well, it's all about phases, isn't it? But
It
but
is.
but in some ways, this is your finest hour
Yeah.
if you interpret it, because what you're doing is you're learning the truth,
Ah,
going deeply into the truth, and there's a call to awaken.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that finest hour doesn't necessarily mean that you. I mean, this quote tends to imply action orientation. You're going to do something,
Yes. Yes. It's a worldly thing, isn't it?
and he's obviously was talking about it in reference to his own experience. He was called to step up and do something very profound
Yeah.
in his life, and so he's referencing that experience. But the call is always there, and how your finest hour looks is a matter of interpretation.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be action oriented or you need to go out and save the world on a sort of scale that said Churchill did. His particular path was quite unusual, but it's a call to, well, your finest hours to step up to this the call of spirit. And for you that might look like, okay, I'm going to really deepen into this. I'm going to really study this great teaching quite intensively, so that I get this, and I wake up and I correct my mind, I change my perception, and in your own way you spread that.
Yeah.
So the quote remains relevant at whatever level you want to interpret it, whether it's grandiose, change the world ideas, which okay, there's nothing wrong with those if they're really inspired. The world could certainly change, like systematically. I think it is changing, and they're going to be people who are agents of that change. But um, it's also about the life stage you're at. If you're retired now, well, you've done this. You've done your action in the world. So now it's time to deepen into being and understand that more. And as I've said before, I think this is actually what a great opportunity you have.
Indeed.
You're tired, don't have any work pressures, and you can spend a lot of time on this
Yeah.
and really deepen into it without any kind of the stresses that most people have on their time,
Yeah.
family and businesses and so on. So in some ways, it's an ideal position to have done what you've done. You worked, you've got a financially you're fine, and then you're like, okay, I've got time, and I can spend the time doing this, which now becomes your finest hour. So it's quite true, just in maybe a different way for you and Sue, and others who retired
Yeah.
may not necessarily go, wow, okay, yes, I want to step up and do a kind of a Churchill. I mean, for me, this inspires me because I'm 25 years younger than you. It's like, okay, well, what can I do? Still got the capacity to do, maybe something that changes the game entirely. So that's interesting. And then it's just being, expressing in doing, being expressing in action, which is okay too. Just depends on what phase you're in, and reminding yourself, don't get attached to the form, because it isn't really about the form outcome. It's about actually the awakening. Form is there to serve the awakening. What will wake people up? What will wake you up, and what's going to wake other people up? Okay, so happy with that quote.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward. Too many of the crucifixion. So if you want a little dive into that, there's a nice recording of that that we did. You wouldn't have been in on that. It was April last year, so it was before you joined. So
Right. Okay.
material for you. Just reviewing the crucifixion. Too many of the crucifixion. Okay, so here's today's lesson. Let's go straight into it, shall we?
God, love, pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go. How can I be alone when God, love, pure formless awareness always goes with me? How can I be doubtful and unsure of myself when perfect certainty abides in him, it? How can I be disturbed by anything when it rests in me in absolute peace? How can I suffer when love and joy surround me through him, it? Let me not cherish illusions about myself. I am perfect because God, love, pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go. So it's a nice, clear, strong statement. Pure formless awareness is always with me.
Goes with me wherever I go. Which, if it's your true awareness, how can it not do? It's your foundational awareness. Makes complete sense. This awareness is always with me. So how can I really doubt it? That awareness is actually mine. And all these lessons are designed just to point us back to that awareness. So, well, it's always there. Never really left you. It goes with you wherever you go. And so how can you really be disturbed by anything when this awareness of total peace rests within you? How can I suffer? How can I my peace be disturbed? How can I be doubtful and unsure? So he's asking us to question the illusions. He uses this technique quite a lot, the questioning, and I think it's quite effective.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, yeah, actually, if this pure formless awareness is in me, this peace is in me perfectly, then how can I be really? Because this denies disturbance, suffering, pain of any kind. Okay. You want to give a little summary of number one?
Pure formless awareness, love is within us and on tap at all times, and we can connect with it whenever we wish. So there is nothing to fear.
Nothing to fear, there's nothing to doubt. No disturbance of your peace is justified. You're perfect because this pure formless awareness goes with you wherever you go, because it's your awareness. If you translate it as pure formless awareness, this is your true awareness, then it's totally obvious. Well, how could your awareness not go with you wherever you go? It's your fundamental awareness, without which you would have no existence at all. So then it must go with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
So it's trying to remind us. So whatever situation you're in, wherever you go physically, whoever you're with, it's there with you. It goes with you wherever you go. Okay, happy with number one? Let's say hello to Iona. Hi, Iona, are you there? Do you want to read number two for us? Don't know. She doesn't seem to be either not there or not able to mute. Ask to unmute. Okay, is that happening?
Hey.
There we go. Hi. Hi, Iona. How are you, Kenneth?
Hi, Jono. Yeah, I've just walked in.
Okay.
Hi, Kenneth.
Yeah. Oh,
You ready to read, or do you want John to read the next one?
could you read, please? Because I need to go to the loo. Too much.
Yeah.
But I'll be more comfortable in a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, number two.
God love, pure formless awareness is my strength. Vision is its gift. Let me not look to my own eyes to see, perceive today. Let me be willing to exchange my pitiful illusion of seeing, perceiving, for the vision that is given by God love, pure formless awareness. Christ, the one self's vision is its gift, and it has given it to me. Let me call upon this gift today so that this day may help me to understand eternity.
Okay. So, anything stand out for you there?
Well, I just reflected on the word vision and looked at our glossary, and actually, I think our glossary is good, actually. The Holy Spirit's perception of anything is our word for vision, because I was just wondering exactly what vision was, actually.
Yeah, vision. Okay, so vision, the Holy Spirit's perception of anything, also known as spiritual sight. Okay, we could clarify that a bit. Perception of anything, Holy Spirit, or the awareness of oneness. So maybe.
I like Holy Spirit, actually, as we've got it there.
This is how oneness, another way of saying this would be how the principle of oneness reinterprets the dream world.
Ah, yes, okay, that's good. Yeah.
So you now reference to oneness, and you say, okay, so from the perspective of oneness, if I look upon this situation, whatever it is, then how do I see it differently?
And from that comes the strength. Yeah.
Because if it's something that's dark, negative, showing you something that's not true, the perspective of oneness reminds you that this isn't true.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. Only oneness is true, nothing else is true. So you can let this go and restore your mind to strength, which is just staying equanimous in this awareness that you are not swayed by these appearances. That's strength. And from that strength, that place of being rooted in your own true awareness that is unshakable and unmovable, then you look at the world and you have vision. You will see that vision is this reinterpretation of everything. So something dark, something negative apparently happens, and instead of reacting to it and making it real, you simply remind yourself, no, this isn't true. These dark thoughts and emotions that are symbolized in this person, situation, event are not true, because only oneness is true. And so that's the consistent reinterpretation that Jesus is asking us to do. It's very simple, but it's the complete opposite of the way we perceive now. So it's challenging.
So, Jono, vision, spiritual sight.
Yeah.
No.
He uses spiritual sight as well for it, but in the early parts of the course, in the first couple of chapters, he uses spiritual sight a couple of times, and then he pretty much drops that spiritual sight term and goes to the Holy Spirit, talks about the Holy Spirit and vision after that. So whenever he uses vision, he's referring to the Holy Spirit, not the ego. The ego sees or misperceives, and the Holy Spirit gives you vision, which is really just the principle of oneness, remembrance of oneness that reinterprets the dream world and says, well, none of it's ultimately true. It's one simple reinterpretation in every situation, but it's to remember to do that.
Yeah.
That's why it's tricky, because very easy to get sucked down the rabbit hole, as we know, of misinterpretation, and then you've got false thoughts and emotions going on, and now they seem to be real. And this is, of course, what the ego specializes in doing all the time. It's trying to suck you down that rabbit hole into the unreal, and only this memory of oneness, the remembrance of oneness, being the Holy Spirit, can restore your vision, can get you to see that situation truly, and let it go. Say, well, this has no effect on me, and then you find the strength that is comes from your true awareness. It is unshakable, because that awareness is always there. Yeah, very, very, very simple, but we need to be reminded, because it's totally the opposite of the way we perceive normally. So it's just constant reminder. Yeah, okay. Just let it go. Don't hold on to any of the ego's misinterpretations. Be aware of them constantly as they arise. Okay, I'm aware of it, but I can release it until you get to a point where you only have vision. You don't misinterpret. You just see truly. You see from that state of pure formless awareness, and none of the falsity of the ego can affect you. Okay. Do you want to give a little summary of that, John? And explain vision.
Yes. So vision is the reinterpretation of the world as we think we see it, as reinterpreted through the Holy Spirit. And so reinterpreted with the awareness of oneness, so as to take us back to unity. So the lesson is, vision is a gift. So the ability to reinterpret the dream is given to us, and in that lies our strength.
Yeah, and then I will understand eternity.
Yeah.
So in the now, we start to understand eternity. Right now I have strength. Feel the strength of God or love or pure formless awareness in me, and that starts to help us understand that that is always there.
Shall we define eternity?
Okay. Do we have a definition for eternity? Ego, existence?
Can't see it.
No. No, we don't. But we can add that in if you like. So, eternity is a state of no time. State of no time or timeless awareness. So eternity is not forever in time. Eternity is no time.
Yeah. That's quite a big difference, really.
There is, yeah. I think a lot of people misinterpret it as, oh, well, it's just going to go on forever in time. But it's actually the end of time.
Yeah.
What did I do there? Did something. Okay, ego, existence. Actually, eternity belongs before existence, I would say. It's a T. And it's really a state of mind. Eternity is a state of mind.
Yeah.
Where we are rooted. So if we are rooted, whoa. Okay, what did I do now? Okay. I just copied and pasted the whole thing. All right, struggling here. Maybe I just need to change the view here.
You leave it like that, okay?
It's not an alphabetical.
Oh, no, you got to move it up, yeah.
Okay. State of no time or timeless awareness. And how we experience that in this world as being fully present in the now. That's the only way you're going to experience it in this world. So you experience strength now, and you start to get the idea that the strength is always there. Right? It's never not been there. And then you start to experientially understand eternity. And that's what he's talking about here. Okay, so happy with that definition?
Yep.
Space of no time or timeless awareness, experience of being fully present in the now in this world. So how do we come to understand eternity? Well, we connect with this eternal presence, this eternal strength that gives us vision, and we do it moment by moment. And then we start realizing, but this is always on. There's never a time that this hasn't been. And eternity starts to become understandable to us again, because we're rooted in something permanent and that doesn't change. Okay, happy with number 2?
Yep.
All right. Iona, read number 3 for us.
God, love, pure formless awareness is my source. I cannot see apart from him, it. I cannot see, perceive what God, love, pure formless awareness wants me to see. I cannot see anything else. Beyond its will, awareness, lies only illusions. It is these I choose when I think I can see, perceive, apart from him or it. It is these I choose when I try to see, perceive, through the body's eyes. Yet the vision of Christ, the one self, has been given to me to replace them. It is through this vision that I choose to see, perceive. So this is about the completeness of where I can be if I choose, if I want to see that. The bliss comes to mind, yeah, because beyond that are only illusions. And when I choose to step away from pure formless awareness, the Christ mind, the one self, the mind of oneself, then, oh, well, it's hell, isn't it? Yet through the vision of the one self has been given me to replace them. It is through this vision that I choose to perceive.
So you understand Christ as the one self.
That was the term that I couldn't immediately recall. No, the one self, different from pure formless awareness.
Well, it's like a self-concept. So it's a self-concept that unites us with pure formless awareness in this world. So if I believe that I'm only one self.
Got it.
See? So there's only one self.
The mind that joins us all.
Yeah. So that self-concept is the only self-concept that's going to take you back to pure formless awareness.
So the one self. Yes, thank you, because I used to use the phrase of it being in the Christ mind. The idea of oneself, which is the one joining mind that links us all.
And that's going to bring pure formless awareness into your experience. So in in this teaching, he brings in this idea of the one self, the higher self, the Christ, whatever you want to call it. In some of the Eastern teachings, they talk about self as well, and Advaita. The Buddha, interestingly, didn't really go there. In Buddhism, he just said, well, just go into the awareness itself and don't worry about a self. There is no self. It was a doctrine of no self. Said, if you just let go of all sense of self, then you will get to nirvana or pure formless awareness eventually. So I think the Christ idea is helpful as a replacement for our false identity. So for a lot of Westerners, it might be too much of a stretch straight away to say, okay, I'm just going to be no self. That's like, whoa. Okay, no self, but one self. Okay, there's this one self. I have a self. I don't not exist. There's one self that unites me with my brother, and I see that self in everyone. So you are that self. I'm that self. So that Christ, as of course calls it, simply means the anointed ones, the anointed one self. It's the person who's come into the awareness that they are that one self. I think it's a helpful learning device. That's why he uses it in this world to say, yes, I accept that I'm one self, and then I see that one self in everyone. That's going to unite you with your true awareness, ultimately. So it's a helpful learning device.
Right, okay, that's really helpful. I hadn't quite appreciated that. I think there had been an area of muddle in my mind about that.
Yeah. Well, join most the Christian world.
Okay.
Like, okay, what is this? It's a bit like Holy Spirit. What does this term actually mean? What does Christ actually mean? and you got to understand it from a psychological point of view. Like, what does this mean in the mind? It's a higher self concept that unites you with your source. Very simply put, if you
that was
believe that,
lovely. A higher self concept that unites with source.
yeah, if you believe only this, it's going to take you back to pure formless awareness.
Yeah.
It has to. So it's a stepping stone. In the end, there is only God. There's no Christ in God. There's no Holy Spirit in God.
Ah.
It's all one awareness, right? But it's to get there. It's the bridge. How do we get from our state of seeming separation
So they
back
only.
to pure formless awareness?
So I think that I had skipped over the Christ, the one self, when I was trying to give you an interpretation of the Holy Trinity. So you use the word bridge in terms of the bridge being the Christ, the one self. The Holy Spirit is the awareness of oneness, awareness of the Christ mind, the one self. And pure formless awareness is pure formless awareness.
Yeah. So this is it's a concept. Think of it like the Holy Spirit's the awareness of oneness. So it's the awareness of Christ, of the one self, and the Christ is the one self.
Yes.
It's the like concept of, okay, there's only one, and of course it's abstract, but if you really use this concept in the world and you say, well, yes, I'm one self, I'm the one self, and you're also the one self, there's only one of us here, it must bring your mind into alignment with oneness, the principle of oneness, which is now the awareness of the Holy Spirit is now coming into your mind. And that's going to take you back to pure formless awareness ultimately. Because in pure formless awareness, there's only perfect oneness. So it makes, it just, once you understand these terms and what they're trying to do, it's actually quite a sophisticated psychological system.
I know, I love it.
Mind training that he's pointing us to. And these terms are helping us to do this transformation of mind. That's why they're useful temporarily. They're not ultimately, in truth, in perfect oneness. They're not necessary. There's no Christ, Holy Spirit. There's only, that one pure formless awareness, just one state. But from our separated point of view, it's helpful to have these pointers to help us to restore our mind. So remember at what level you're working. You're working within the dream world. So it's not ultimate truth here.
Okay.
Because ultimate truth is beyond all of it. You don't need any concepts in ultimate truth. You only need pure formless awareness is all there is. This is God. This is love. This is what he's pointing us to. But in the dream world, it's helpful when you think you're very separated. How do you find your way out of this mess?
Yeah.
So these concepts and ideas are helpful pointers to point you back to that awareness, to keep directing you back to that awareness, to train your mind ultimately to restore itself to that awareness and that awareness only. And then all the concepts disappear. There's no Christ, there's no Holy Spirit, there's just that one state of mind, that pure formless awareness that is, and nothing else is.
Good.
I just put that diagram that I did, Jono, on the WhatsApp message.
Oh yeah, okay, that's useful. So let's have a look at that. I did save it, but so John did a diagram last year. So let's just pull it up. Downloading. And you can have a look at it, because he did a diagram that explains relationship of Christ. Was this the Christ Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
There we go. It's just inverted. I don't know how I switch this around. I'll have to download it, I think. Download. WhatsApp image. Christ diagram. Modes, okay. Now maybe I can just turn it around. Let's rotate it. There we go. And okay, can you see that?
Yeah, good.
So there you have pure formless awareness. So that's the ultimate state. There's no separate identity at all, right? So no thought of separation at all. That means there's no other self-concept. There's no Christ. There's no Holy Spirit. It's all just collapsed into pure formless awareness, perfect oneness. Then you have Christ's vision and Christ's self. So I would maybe change those. Put the Christ self as the concept above that, and then the Christ vision is how that self-concept perceives the world. And Christ's vision is really the Holy Spirit's vision. It's the same thing. From the Holy Spirit, the awareness of the one self, we now can perceive, reinterpret the world, the flat land and the dream. So Christ sits just below pure formless awareness because it's a self-concept that's going to unite our minds with that awareness, take us fully back to that awareness. And the vision then becomes how we reinterpret the dream. And we translate whatever we're perceiving here into Christ's vision, which then becomes the real world we see, and that becomes the way home. That's the bridge. Because we're not going to get from flatland and the dream straight back to pure formless awareness without some intermediary steps.
That's really useful.
Yeah, so you have that.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll I'll put that into some kind of Word document at some point and draw it out neatly and stuff. Unless you want to do that, John, up to you.
Yeah, I can have a go, or yeah. Well, let me have a first go. See what you think.
Yeah. I'd reverse those. I'd say Christ's self just below there is the self-concept, and then Christ's vision is almost the arrows, isn't it? Christ's vision would be the perception. It's like how Christ sees, and that Christ's vision is really the Holy Spirit's vision. It's the same thing. It's the awareness of oneness. Oneness is an interpretation of the dream as as arrows. So the Christ is like the identity, and then the vision is how that identity sees or perceives the world through the awareness of oneness, which is the Holy Spirit. So Christ's vision and the Holy Spirit's vision, it's really one and the same thing. These are it's language. It's being used again just to point us to aspects of our mind and our perception. Okay, so happy with that? Let's go back to our it's I've enjoyed this, and as we interact in these things, it's developed. Like in these sessions, we're teaching ourselves. Like, oh, okay, so, and that's the beauty of it. It's just, stuff unfolds, and you start going, this makes so much sense. What he's saying, when you really get to the nuts and bolts of it, and you break it down into the simplicity of it, it makes so much sense what he's saying. It's a very, very simple thought system. And it's just clearing away the complexity sometimes that comes in with these concepts, these words, concepts. I think this process is really helpful. And the translations, it does kind of break it up a bit, but you find it helpful if I put, the alternative term in the actual text.
Yeah.
You find that helpful. So as you read it, you could read it as, okay, well, I read God and then I read the alternatives, or you could just go, okay, well, I'll skip the traditional, the original, and I'll just go, I can perceive what pure. So maybe let's do that. Read it a second time and read it as just the alternatives. See how that flows.
I can see Oh, pure formless awareness is my source. I cannot see apart from it. I can perceive.
That's sorry, I missed one. So I missed some of the C's. There's so many. I cannot perceive apart from.
Aha!
You must. You. I cannot perceive. It's like because he uses the word see so often. He wants me to see or perceive. I cannot. So just do the translation.
Okay, here's another question. Is source Father, or is that just pure formless awareness is the source of mine, is my source, my Alpha and Omega?
Is source Father in the course's terminology. Yeah, he uses Father. He uses Father actually more often than source. As another pointer.
Okay, source is okay in this context.
Yeah.
Pure formless awareness is my source. I cannot perceive apart from it. I can perceive what pure formless awareness wants me to see. I cannot see anything else.
Yeah, I missed them. I was going through this. And I was like, oh God, I missed those last night. But it was quite brilliant.
I can perceive what pure formless awareness wants me to perceive. I cannot perceive anything else. Beyond its awareness lie only illusions. It is these I choose when I think I can perceive apart from it. It is these I choose when I try to perceive through the body's eyes. Yet the vision of the one self, and that is the spiritual sight, spiritual sight of the one self has been given me to replace them. It is through this spiritual sight that I choose to perceive. Yay, that's good.
Yeah. What I could do, actually, I'm just thinking about the formatics. It's kind of quite choppy. I could do the original as an original, and then go, okay, below that, it makes the email longer, of course, but below that, I could put the translated version. So you have both versions as a clean, you know what I mean? As a clean version.
Yeah, I like the cleanness of that.
Yeah. So you can read the original, or I could just say, here's the original, click the link if you want to read the original, because it's on, and here's the translated version.
Yeah.
What do you think would be more helpful?
I like the second option, the translated version underneath it, if you don't mind typing.
Well, it's copy and paste, isn't it? It's just copy and so you have the original version, and then underneath it you have the alternative version in the same email, and then you can go, okay, I can read the original, and then I can go down and I can read the alternative as a clean, no slashes, because it's a bit choppy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
God/love/ I mean, I like one of the beauties of the course is it's very flowing. It's lovely language. It just kind of flows, and so part of me is like, it's useful to have the alternatives, but I don't want to kind of break it up into something that then becomes, not particularly pleasant to read.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I put the original, which I already have, and then I just copy paste that below, it might mean the email gets very long, because some of the lessons, as we get to later on, he's got like 10, 12, 15 paragraphs sometimes in the lesson. So
I wonder if we're all getting used to the translations.
Yeah.
Therefore, do we actually need them written down?
I don't know. So, I mean, one of the reasons not to do it is to make you do it yourself. But then if people are not familiar with it, it's very easy not to do it. It's just you'll just skip over it if it's not explicit. So that's why I put them in.
Yeah.
So yeah, Let me think about it. I'll ponder it, but maybe ask a couple of other people.
Yeah.
But I'd like you want to make it as easy, as user friendly as possible. So what's going to be user friendly? Well, maybe not right below it. Maybe just here I put, okay, so there's the one version and there's the alternative version straight away. And there's the original paragraph and there's the alternative paragraph underneath it.
It works here. I mean, it could work here because you've got 5 short paragraphs.
Yeah.
But normally you've got kind of like 6 paragraphs.
Well,
Might be
same thing. Each paragraph, I could say, okay, here's the original paragraph, and here's the translated paragraph, so that you can read it. You can read it. You can read the original, and then you can go and you can read the alternative. So you get 2 reads of it. And just do the other one in italics. Do the alternative in italics below. So you go, okay. So however you want to read it, I could then read it. If I read the non-italicized text, I'm reading the original. If I read the italicized, then I don't know. What do you think? I'm just trying to sort of work out a.
Why don't you give it a go, Jono?
Yeah, and see how it. See how you've. Okay, I'll try that tomorrow. Just put in so it'll be like, there's the alternative below, and there's and the paragraph translated in italics immediately below, and then so then you can read it as a clean paragraph. If you want to read the alternative, just read the alternative. Okay, so happy with number 3?
Yeah.
Did you explain it back? I don't know. I think have a go at that and see if you can explain it.
I did the first time round, yeah, but it was quite a long time ago, maybe 15 minutes ago now. So
okay.
I can perceive what love wants me to perceive, and cannot perceive anything else, as beyond this awareness lies only illusions. When I choose to perceive apart from awareness, it is these I choose when I'm looking through my egoic eyes. But the spiritual sight of oneself has been given me to see the completeness, the beauty, the joy and peace, and it's that I choose to perceive.
Yeah, nice.
It's good to say it again. It's always good to say it again to myself.
Yeah. Well, it's repetition. It's like you're teaching yourself. Like, so this is ultimately, you want to get to the point where you just accepted this, where it's just, this is just how I absolutely accept this is true. There's no other way of thinking. There's no other way of perceiving. This is now my default thought system, my default way of operating in the world. Basically, I've installed another operating system, and it's just this is now what guides me. That's what he's trying to do here, and that's a process, because reinstalling an operating system is not a trivial exercise. If you've ever done it in a computer, you know, because it's the foundation of everything else. All the software runs on it. So it's like the absolute foundation of how your mind works, and that's the level we're going to here, which is why it's difficult. If you find resistance and you find it, well, of course, I mean, you're reinstalling the operating system. It's a complete reboot of the way you think and perceive about everything and everyone. That's quite a radical exercise, actually. But fortunately, he's just given us, day by day, lesson by lesson, just baby steps. Just keep practicing this, keep doing this, and it does start to happen. Okay, so number 4. I think it's John's turn.
God, love, pure formless awareness is the light awareness in which I see, perceive. I cannot see, perceive in darkness or unawareness. God, love, pure formless awareness is the only light awareness. Therefore, if I am to see, perceive truly, it must be through him or it. I have tried to define what seeing, perceiving is, and I have been wrong. Now it is given me to understand that God, pure love, pure formless awareness, is the light awareness in which I see, perceive. Let me welcome vision and the happy world it will show me.
Okay, stand out a bit.
When I read that paragraph, I think it would be useful to have 2 different paragraphs, one with the original and one with the translation. It is getting chunky.
It's kind of chopped up.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of, like, darkness is unawareness, light is awareness. So then you get like 2 or 3 in a sentence.
Yeah.
Just kind of chops it up.
Yeah.
So this will be at some point I'll translate the entire course into an alternative language. It's quite a work. It's quite a lot of work, but I guess maybe just day by day as I'm going through the program, because the text is another matter. To do that, it's like quite a lot of work. But why not? I think these translations are very helpful, and I haven't seen anyone else who's done them. Have you seen an alternative version of the course anyway?
No.
Where they've actually changed the terms and gone, okay, let's change these terms into non-Christian terms, and things like darkness and light. Well, what are you really talking about? We're not talking about a physical light. You're talking about awareness.
What is the course of love? Because a couple of people said, oh yeah, well, the Course in Miracles, it's so wordy and it's so impossible to read, but the Course of Love is really fantastic and you can understand it so much easier. Who wrote that?
Yeah, it was a lady, what was her name? Marie something or other. I did read it, but I didn't think it was on the same level, honestly.
Okay.
I think it was called The Course in Love.
Yeah.
The Course of Love, there we go. Course of Love. Marie Perron was her name. Where are we? Course of Love, preview, Marie Perron, there we go. So she's given a preview. So she kind of also channeled it. So it's quite interesting to understand, and it was supposedly like a follow-on from the course. So there's some interesting stuff in there, but there were times when I was like, this is not non-dual anymore. It's slipping into duality. So I was like, the problem is if you start fudging it and you say, okay, well, this is the truth, and then now you have another truth, and they seem to contradict. It's I mean, by all means read it, but and make your own discernment. But in terms of a rigorous, the reason why people don't like this is because it's a rigorous mind training process. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And Jesus is taking you through the training. He's saying, okay, yeah, you're going to wrestle with this, and it's going to be difficult, and you've got to understand this stuff, because this is the undoing of the ego. And anything less isn't going to work. So this was written as a follow-on from A Course in Miracles. The idea is you read the course first, and you do the mind training, and then you follow on. But honestly, if you really get the course, if you really understand it, well, there's nothing else necessary. You get it. You're enlightened. You don't really need to read more if you've really understood A Course in Miracles, because it's that deep.
I have a problem with that first sentence. A Course of Love is for troubled hearts. What A Course in Miracles is for troubled minds. Well, what the hell does that mean?
Well, exactly. I mean, whether they wrote that, or who wrote that blurb about the end of the rule of the thinking mind. They call for a new way of knowing. So it's talking about the heart but really there's no distinction.
No.
Troubled hearts. Well, what's the heart and what's the mind? I mean,
Right,
it's all
yeah.
one. We use heart to point us to an aspect of mind as a more of a feeling aspect, but that's still mind because it's being experienced where in your mind. I mean, in your awareness, this is happening. So there's no real distinction between heart and mind, which is why Jesus doesn't really make it in the course. He doesn't say, well, that's your heart and that's your mind.
Got it.
It's one thing. So there, right there, as you said, there's a split. For troubled hearts, what A Course in Miracles is for troubled minds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if your mind is troubled, then your heart's going to be troubled, because it's all, your mind creates emotions. Mind leads to difficult emotions, which then you call a troubled heart. But start with your perception. You're saying, well, what leads to your emotions is your thoughts.
Yeah.
You need to really work with your thoughts and start transforming your belief system, because that's what leads to the emotional problems. There's no split between emotion and thought, really. I mean, what's emotion and what's thought? 6 of one, half a dozen of it. It's very difficult to say, isn't it? I have a thought, and then there's a feeling that arises. Okay, well, do I really want to go into okay, well, that's thought, and it's all just a movement of mind. It's all thought in Course in Miracles terms. It's all what he calls thought. Emotion is thought. It's just we feel it, and we tend to then feel it in the body. But don't split it and go, oh, well, that's something different now. But you see what they're trying to do is differentiate it from A Course in Miracles.
Yes, I do.
Because it's like, okay, well, this is what we offer that's different. Well, is it really? Or you're just trying to market your book?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep, that's clear. Thank you.
But by all means, read it. I found it interesting, and it was a useful exercise to kind of discern and go, okay, so what's being said here? Does this make sense? Does this fit into a non-dual framework? And it's all part of the mind training. Then you can go, okay, well, yeah, okay, some of it I can accept. As he says, if it's kind of in accord with love, and then I can accept it, and the Holy Spirit will purify it. But if it's out of accord, then I reject it.
Yeah.
But then you're into okay, well, I can't believe all of this. That's the danger. Then you read a book, and you're like, okay, well, some of it I can accept, and some of it I can't. So what I like about the Course is it's all true.
Yep.
It's coming from a point of absolute truth. He never varies from the message. It's one consistent truth that's running all the way through this. And I think the source has a lot of integrity. If you listen to Helen Schuckman, Elaine was absolutely blown away by that post she put of Helen Schuckman, where she was interviewed, just about 15 minutes, and she just talks about her experience of it. And it's very authentic. You go, yeah, this, she's not trying to be anything. She's just like, this was my experience, and it was very difficult, but this is how I experienced it. So it speaks to the authenticity of the process that she wrote it through. I don't know how Marie Perron experienced it. I don't know how she wrote it. There's no clarity in that. She said it was some kind of dictation as well, but I haven't gone into depth into how that was actually done. And then you start seeing the danger is people's own interpretation comes in. Who's writing it? Is it actually being written by this higher mind, Jesus, the Christ mind, or is my own interpretation coming in here? And
I
I'm
understand. Yeah.
Okay. So where are we? We've done number 4, huh?
I just read number 4.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a little summary?
Well, to me, what it's saying is that we do not see with our physical eyes. We only see illusion. We don't see anything. But when connected with pure formless awareness, then we are able to see the real world which lies beyond this one.
Yeah. Do you understand that light is awareness? So pure formless awareness is the awareness in which I perceive.
Yes, I mean, yes, and it makes sense that light is awareness. Yeah.
So again, you know, a lot of people are like, well, light, so does that mean physical light? Do I need to see light? Like, no, not at all. It's just awareness.
Yeah.
Just your true awareness. That's the light in which
Image.
you then perceive everything. And it's not just physical sight, it's your entire perception of the world. So how you process and interpret all of the sensory data that's coming to you from the illusion is your perception. The perception is a much broader term than see, because again, people think see is they're related to physical sight. But it's much bigger than that.
Yeah. Inner sight.
And let me welcome vision. So vision is perception. It's not just the body's eyes. In fact, he says, you know, vision is not with the body's eyes. Vision is spiritual sight. It's seeing with the mind. You perceive with the mind. So it's how you interpret all of the sensory inputs, and you put that together as some kind of integrated perception in your mind. That's what he's talking to, and you will see the happy world when you do this. If you do this from the connection with pure formless awareness, from the awareness of pure formless awareness, you will see a happy world. You have to, because you see underlying it that there is just this awareness, and everything has that awareness, and everything is returning to that awareness. Everything's in a process of returning to pure formless awareness. That's the ultimate purpose of the world, of the universe. You know, it has a purpose. It has an ultimate goal and destination, which is the return to oneness, the at-one-ment process. So like Alan Watts saying, well, it has no purpose. That's not true. Because then you basically say, oh, well, it's just some kind of random. I mean, just think about that for a moment. Okay, so the world has no purpose other than to experience. That's the purpose of the world, to experience. Okay, well, so we're just here to experience, and there's no ultimate purpose. So then we're just going to be caught up in experiencing this world forever, aren't we? If that's what it is, we'd be stuck in permanent experience of a material world. And the only purpose is to experience it, presumably to enjoy it. But then you also have the flip side of that, where you don't enjoy it. It lacks a foundation, doesn't it? That teaching just like, okay, well, where do you go with that? How do you actually live authentically and consciously and happily if it's just experience? Okay, well, I'm just here to experience. So is a happy experience as valid as a sad experience then, as a painful experience? If it's all about experience? See, that gives you no basis for choice, does it? It's kind of people call that non-duality, but it's not actually. It's actually just going everything is the same, and you can't distinguish. There's no way of discerning or distinguishing between pain and joy then. How do I decide if it's all experience? How do I decide what I want and what I don't want? What's valuable, what has meaning, and what doesn't? So kind of leaves you nowhere. Whereas this teaching is very clear. It's like, no, you know, there's experience in this world, and there's only one kind of experience you want, and that's happy, loving, peaceful experiences. You don't want the other experiences. They're not something you want to hold in your mind. You want to let them go. So you have to deny a part of the experience of the world in order to be happy. And you can't really fudge that, because if you accept all experience as equally valid, well, it's equally valid to be upset and miserable and depressed as to be happy and joyful, and both of those experiences have the same value. And if you want to take it to an extreme, it's as valid to go and murder someone as it is to go and give someone a hug, because it's all experience and there's no distinguishing between it. It's all part of God. Then see, how do I decide then? And that obviously, if you take it to its extreme, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, well, imagine if everyone behaved that way. It's as valid to go stab someone as to hug them. Like, whoa, like that clearly that's not a thought system that's going to work. It's not going to give you any basis for correct decision making and making true choices that are actually going to serve yourself and others, if you take it to its extreme. So it's I'm just doing this now because it's useful to go, okay, well, what does that actually entail then? If you play that thought system out to its extreme of, yes, everything's equally valid, and the light and the dark are both equally valid, and we're here to experience. You probably heard this teaching, I'm sure. There's teachers and teachings that go, yeah, it's all, and they pretend that this is non-dual, and they say, oh, well, it's because it's all part of the oneness. So what you've done then is you've chucked two opposing thought systems together and you've tried to make them one, and you can't, because there's a fundamental irreconcilable split. You have to choose. And the only valid choice is oneness, because the other choice is not actually a choice for anything. And if you choose the ego, the Holy Spirit will remain in your mind. You cannot undo that presence. You cannot undo that, your true awareness. So you remain then with a split mind, and you're actually not chosen anything. You've just chosen to deny the truth.
Yeah.
So if ever you get into any kind of metaphysical argument with someone who is saying, well, I'm of the alternative school of non-duality and it's all one and we need to accept the light and the dark, then just play a couple of games and say, okay, well, let's just take that thought system, and if you actually believed that and took it to its extreme, it would be as valid for me to stab you now as to hug you, because there's no way of distinguishing then between what's good and what's not.
Oh.
And just the logic of it falls apart. But you have to be very, very clear about it. And that's what I like about the Course. He's very, very clear. He's telling us over and over again, you cannot have both of these, you must choose. Because he knows what your ego is going to try and do is get you not to choose. It's going to try and fudge it. So no, you don't have to choose. You can have the world and you can have God, and it's all fine. And try and fudge that logic and sort of make it work. But actually you can't. The ego can't be underneath God. I remember going to a church sermon last year. The guy's like, no, well, you can have your ego as long as it's subservient to God. So we got some kind of hierarchy. God's there and then ego's there, and as long as it's ridiculous, because it totally contradicts God. How can what totally contradicts something else be a servant of it?
Yeah.
It's in opposition, and you just have to see it for what it is. But he's fudging it because he doesn't want to tell the full truth, because he might only have like five people in his congregation. If he did, they would probably all leave and go to another church because they wouldn't necessarily like that message. So that's how it goes. What I like about this is Jesus has no agenda. He's not trying to build a congregation. He doesn't have a worldly agenda. He's just telling us straight, this is how it is, accept it or not. Okay. And so number 5.
Pure formless awareness is the mind with which I think. I have no thoughts I do not share with pure formless awareness. I have no thoughts apart from it, because I have no mind apart from its. As part of its mind, my thoughts are its, and its thoughts are mine. Right? I have no mind apart from it. I have no mind. Actually, that's quite a relief.
I have to say, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that other mind just doesn't exist. I
Oui.
think I have another mind, but it's not really there. Because all that mind is a bunch of crazy thoughts.
Yeah,
false
really.
thoughts. And we call that a mind, but it's actually just false thoughts and ideas woven into some kind of belief system that we then go, well, that's us. That's our mind.
Yeah.
And they're saying, nope, it's
Nope,
just,
that's not it.
it's not it. And here he uses mind as capital mind, capital M. That's the mind with which I think. So that's the whole mind. This is whole awareness. So heart, we looked at this, heart would fall within capital mind. Because mind is all inclusive. There's nothing that's not in mind. It's your whole awareness. And the way you get to higher mind, Christ mind, that identification with that mind, is to let go of your thoughts from the lower mind. Right? The small mind can decide between spirit and ego, and too often decides for the ego. Decides that, yes, I believe in separation here. So those thoughts are the thoughts we need to undo, to let go of, to restore our mind to higher mind, capital mind. And that, in truth, is the only mind with which I think. And that thought is not necessarily dualistic. It's not thought as we think of thought. It's just an awareness. Like when you're truly in that mind, you're not going to be thinking about subject-object things. You're not going to be thinking about, I'm doing this person's doing this. None of that duality exists in that mind. And thoughts, capital T, are the thoughts of God. That are just that awareness. You hold that awareness. There's only the love, and you experience it fully. It's beyond what we think of as thought. But then he's saying you're totally confused. If you're thinking with the wrong mind, what you think is not true. It's false. You're thinking from a false self. So what else could you think then but false thoughts that actually have no meaning? So we're just stating it again. Over and over, he's telling us, like, there's only the one option. There's only the one mind, only the one awareness. Take your mind to that, because only there will you find happiness, and peace and salvation.
I really used it this morning when I suddenly sort of went up like a firework and just was operating like a kind of wasp, a wasp and a firework. I don't know where that came from anyway. And then I thought, no, just take it all down. Breath break. Stop.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
so you got a bit hyper.
Yes, I did. It may have been caffeine and plus a kind of list of things to do, but it really worked. And oh man, what a relief,
Just to drop into this awareness. So this is my true mind. I'm home. I'm safe. And it's all okay, and this can direct things. This can direct operations way better. So the ego is telling you, no, you need me, because I'm the one who gets stuff done in the world, and I'm practical, and I look after you, and this is its. No, you need to be practical. I mean, you know the voice.
I do.
But actually, if you're really rooted in this awareness, it can do whatever needs to be done on the level of form quite well, very well. You can just flow with it without any drama. You can be in a state of peace. Flow is really just peace and happiness in action. You're just able to be operating and doing stuff while that underlying state is there, and it's directing things. And then the point of all activities we do in the world is actually to stay connected to this awareness. What else is it for?
Yeah.
And then you bring that awareness into all of your daily activities, and then the spirit is doing it for you, and that's a much more joyful way of operating than, okay, well, no, I just need to this is the way I need to park that awareness, because this awareness is not going to help me here.
Awareness is not going to get the floor swept or the emails written.
No, exactly. which is a delusion because it's your foundational awareness. So how can it not have the power to do that? It's the
This
base
is what I'm
state.
discovering. Yeah.
It's the
I
base
get that.
state without which you would have no awareness at all. So why would you want to deny that in anything?
Yeah.
Why would you just take that with you? God goes with me wherever I go. Take it with me wherever I go, and it's there with me. And this can now reinterpret. See, this is the beauty of the Holy Spirit idea. This awareness just reinterprets whatever you're perceiving in the world, and does it for you, and says, okay, well, just change your perception, just do it, see it differently, and therefore, your words and your actions are going to change because you just shifted your interpretation of that situation. So, an email comes in, let's say it's something that's triggered you a bit, then you go, okay, well, if I listen to the ego, I'm just going to dive straight in there and send something nasty back, maybe. But the Holy Spirit, okay, this can just reinterpret, can take some time, breathe. Okay, I don't need to react. Maybe I ignore it for a day. Maybe I just leave it. Okay, now I feel like I'm in a right mind to respond. And now I send an email that's just a letting go email. I'm kind, I'm loving. I just ask some questions, whatever. It's a different tone. And so then the Holy Spirit's just done the email for you much more effectively, because you'll get a much better result from that email than you would have from the ego's email. So this is you can take this into everything. This can do your life way, way better than the ego. And that's what he's trying to train us to do, to say, look, this awareness is in everything, even in the so-called dualistic thoughts. I'm thinking about matters of time and space. I've got stuff done. Underlying that, the awareness is still there. The mind with which I think, true mind, is still there. And it's the source which is now coming through in my perception of the situation. So there's no situation the Holy Spirit cannot come in and help you, which is what he's trying to teach us. Look, don't have areas where you exclude it. Just bring it into every experience that you have and let it direct. And then it becomes a universal. And this is the full transfer of training, he calls it. That this is in every situation, you bring this in. You don't make exceptions.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Any comments or questions? Why don't you, Iona, read this and string these together as one kind of coherent sentence. These 5 ideas, because that's always interesting to do.
Yeah. I am never alone. Pure Formless Awareness goes with me. In this place, this is my strength.
Just read it as, so say, pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go.
Pure Formless Awareness.
And so pure formless awareness is my strength, and vision is its gift, and so on. So you just.
Oh, I see. Pure Formless Awareness goes with me wherever I go. It is my strength, and vision is its gift. Pure Formless Awareness is my source. I cannot see apart from it. Thank you. Pure Formless Awareness is the awareness in which I perceive, and is the mind in which I think, with which I think.
So you could have interlaid this. So pure formless awareness is my source, and I cannot see apart from it. So it is the light in which I see or perceive. It makes total sense. The one sentence leads to another.
Got it.
So the idea is to interlink it all and go, yeah, this is one cohesive thought system that he's teaching you.
Okay.
This all can interlock, and you can so easily join these into a sentence. And so you're seeing that there's this cohesiveness of the thought system, which is one of the reasons why he does the reviews. Is to show us how, if he puts them together, you do five lessons together, just how they all, work really beautifully together.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll have a go at that. Pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go. Therefore, pure formless awareness is my strength, and vision is its gift to me. So I cannot see apart from it. It is the light in which I see everything, and it is the mind with which I think. And then you have it all, in one sentence, one long sentence, but all put together, and it makes complete sense because it's one. Each idea reinforces the others. Okay, so happy with that. Any questions on the lesson?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
All right. So shall we do a meditation? Just going to take 2 minutes because I'm just going to get myself set up outside, so we can do it outside. Not too much introduction.
Okay. So my ego mind is saying I have people that I have to email before this afternoon, and I also need to go out, and I also need to be on the course tonight.
Okay.
So my ego is saying, well, why don't you drop off now and do everything you have to do so you can be with tonight?
Okay. Well, do you want to listen to that or not?
After this,
why don't you do 20 minutes? Say, okay, I'm going to give everything to the Holy Spirit. I'll do this meditation, and I'm going to trust that it's all going to flow beautifully. Everything will be done. Everything will be done in perfect time, because I'll be in a higher state of mind, and in that state, everything flows, and I save myself time, and there's no stress, no worry, and just do it as a little experiment in between now and the evening session. Go, okay, so what happens if I really do this in the meditation? I say, okay, so let me test this. I'm gonna give this everything I have to do to the Holy Spirit. I'm gonna do my meditation, and then I'm gonna see how this unfolds. And you might be amazed. You might be astonished at what happens.
Okay.
All right. So,
yeah.
Just gonna go outside. So I'm just gonna pause the recording. If you want to take a quick minute or two break, you can do that. I'm just going to go and do a meditation outside. Okay. I don't do it very often. All right. right. Okay, we're back.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, let me know when you're ready and we'll start.
Okay.
Go. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. I'll just put you on mute, Iona.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. Sitting your feet shoulder width apart. Back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. Lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine into your heart center. Just putting one hand on your heart to connect in with your heart space. Draw the energy up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind, so notice any thoughts, any emotions going on, particularly anything that feels at all stressful. Iona, you mentioned you had a concern about time, so just observe it. And then remind yourself that God, love, or pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go. My awareness is there wherever I go. How can I be alone when this awareness always goes with me? How can I be doubtful and unsure of myself when perfect certainty abides in this awareness? How can I be disturbed by anything when it rests in me in absolute peace? How can I suffer when love and joy surround me through it? So breathe the love in, breathe the joy, feel this expansive presence. Let me not cherish illusions about myself, illusions of being a human doing rather than a human being. Say to yourself, I am perfect because God or love or pure formless awareness goes with me wherever I go. And so you exhale and just blowing them all out. The breeze of your breath, blowing any negative thoughts and emotions out. A dark cloud leaving you to the nothingness that it really is. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And just find some peace and stillness at the bottom of the exhale, in the gap between breaths. It's a little portal to eternity. You're in the now. There is no time, a timeless state. Get a sense of that. So you're learning what eternity means through these mind training exercises. Breathe in again, second phase of the second breath into the stomach, blowing it up like a light-filled balloon. Clenching the sphincter muscle, locking the energy in, drawing this light energy up the spine into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect in with your heart space. And draw it all the way up into the crown of your head. Remind yourself that God, or love, or pure formless awareness, is my strength. Feel that strength. Breathe it into every cell, every pore of your body, every part of your mind. There's nowhere the strength is not. It is all-encompassing. It is your total awareness. And so it gives you vision. So vision is its gift. This awareness gives me vision. Breathe in again. And now listen to these short comments on this key idea from Jesus and say them to yourself in the first person. So let me look to my own eyes to perceive today. Let me be willing to exchange my pitiful illusion of perceiving for the vision that is given by love or God or my pure formless awareness. Christ's vision, the one self's vision, is its gift, and it has given it to me. Let me call upon this gift today so that this day may help me to understand eternity. And so as you exhale, just breathing any little concerns about time and space, what you have to do, just letting them all go to the nothingness they really are. Understand that eternity is given you, a timeless state of awareness. Eternity means no time. You're thinking about what you have to do, you're thinking about time. If you have a limitation in time, then you are denying eternity, and you're believing in time and space, which is, of course, the ego's domain. So just let that all go. Surrender into this timeless state. Feel the strength and the vision that abides there. Smile, because this is the truth of who you are. And then breathe in again. Smooth inhale to the lower stomach. Imagine you breathing light into the stomach, clenching the sphincter muscle to lock this light in. Draw it up the spine, it's a column of golden or white light into your heart center. Put one hand in your heart, connecting with your heart space. Draw the energy up into your upper back, into the crown of your head, just pausing at the top of the inhale. Remind yourself that God or love or pure formless awareness is my source. I cannot see apart from him or it. And then listen to these words. Repeat them after me in your own mind as affirmations of this truth. Say, I can see or perceive only God or love or pure formless awareness wants me to see. I cannot perceive anything else. Beyond this world, beyond this awareness, lie only illusions. It is these I choose when I think I can see or perceive apart from this awareness. It is these I choose when I try to see or perceive through the body's eyes. Yet the vision of Christ, my one self, has been given me to replace them. It is through this vision that I choose to see or perceive. So just exhaling and blowing away any clouds that obscure that vision. Scraps of ideas, thoughts, beliefs, emotions that seem to cloud your vision, that seem to cause confusion. Just blow them away with the breeze of your breath to the nothingness they really are. Letting them all go. Surrendering them all. Entering into this pure formless awareness, which is the blue sky beyond the clouds. Let the light of your awareness shine through that. Smile. You're in a timeless state of awareness. You're learning eternity right now. So breathing in again, imagine breathing this light into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Breathe the light of your true awareness in. Say God or love or pure formless awareness is the light, is the awareness in which I see or perceive. So you breathe that light in, you hold the light in your mind, in your awareness. The light is the awareness. Awareness is light. Awareness of your true mind, awareness of your source is the light in which you see. Then say to yourself, I cannot see or perceive in darkness or in unawareness. God or love or pure formless awareness is the only light, is the only awareness. Therefore, if I am to see or perceive truly, it must be through him or it. I've tried to define what seeing or perceiving is, and I've been wrong. Now it is given me to understand that God or love or pure formless awareness is the light in which I see. Let me welcome vision and the happy world it will show me. So you exhale. And just rest in the light of this awareness for a few moments. Any thoughts occur to you, just let them go. Blow them away with the breeze of your breath. Sink into the light. In this light are all the ego's delusions healed. They're all undone. So breathing the light in again into every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light, and say God or love or pure formless awareness is the mind with which I think. There's no other thought that's possible. I have no thoughts I do not share with God or love or pure formless awareness. I have no thoughts apart from it because I have no mind apart from its mind. It's part of its mind. My thoughts are its, and its thoughts are mine. There is no other thought, there is no other awareness. This is all encompassing, all inclusive, and if there's anything else that's arising, just blow it away with the breeze of your breath into the nothingness that it really is. Letting it all go, surrendering it all. The dark cloud leaving you. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here in your true mind, your true awareness. There's nothing to think about. No dualistic thought is necessary. Just to be aware of this awareness. This is true thought with a capital T. Just being aware of your own pure formless awareness, being rooted in that awareness, is the thought of God, thought of love. So surrender into this thought, into this awareness. In the next couple of minutes of deep silence, there's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, and be still. And sink into this deeper awareness. The next couple of minutes of deep silence. If any thoughts arise, seemingly disturbing this awareness, thoughts of time and space, any limitations, any lack, scarcity, ideas of loss, guilt, fear, sin, attack, thoughts, whatever, just observe them casually and have a little laugh, smile at the ego's persistence, but dismiss them. Remind yourself that God or love or pure formless awareness is the mind with which I think. And you just exhale and release them to the nothingness they really are. Letting them all go, surrendering them all. Blowing them all away with the breeze of your breath and sinking back into the pure formless awareness, the light of your true source that shines through the blue sky, which is your awareness. And they merge as one. There's no separation, there's no distinction. It's just one unbroken reality, one pure formless awareness. So give yourself that experience. Just surrender to it completely for another couple of minutes of deep silence. And so just gently coming back in this deep state of awareness into awareness of the body, the breath, and the senses in the world, but in a very present way. So this is how you maintain this awareness, even while you come back into sense perceptions. It's the underlying awareness that underlies all your sense perceptions. So on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes, breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, the chest rises. subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, clenching the sphincter muscle, locking the energy in, drawing the energy up the spine to your heart center, and then on up into the crown of your head, pausing at the top of the inhale. Remind yourself that this awareness, pure formless awareness, goes with me wherever I go. And so it is my strength. Vision is its gift to me. It is my source. I cannot see apart from it. It is the light or awareness in which I perceive everything. And it is the mind with which I think. And if there's anything that seems to be out of accord with this awareness, just notice it and blow it all away with the breeze of your breath. Exhale. Just letting it go into the nothingness that it really is. Blowing the darkness away and opening yourself to the light. Your true awareness, rest in that light for a few moments. On the count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling and touching with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air on your skin. Breathe that air in. Notice any smell in your nose as you do that. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. And notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment. Without judgment, without interpretation, just observe. And notice the peace that comes with this awareness, this perception that comes from true forms, pure formless awareness. Anchor the state in, so set the intention to stay here for the next few hours until our next session. To help you do that, you can top yourself up with a breath break. Send you 5 breath breaks to choose from, which are just about 3 minutes each. So you can listen to any one of those to practice one of these ideas. Keep you rooted in this awareness. So it is said, so it is done. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around, observing the various things in the room around you. This very aware, detached way, so you're not judging anything, you're not labeling it, interpreting it. Notice how peaceful this perception is. This is the light in which you perceive everything. You're experiencing it right now, so notice how you're feeling and just stay in the state. This is a state of being rooted in your true awareness and a state in which you can flow with everything that you need to do. And this awareness will guide you to flow with whatever you're doing and help you to do it in a very calm, peaceful, and enjoyable way. So that's what I wish for you for the rest of the afternoon and evening, and I look forward to seeing you a little bit later at 7:30 UK time.
Yep. See you then, Jono. See you then,
Namaste.
Iona.
Thank you. Good move.
All right. I'll see you a bit later, Iona.
Yeah. See you later. Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.